Hey everyone, it's JD Temple back again. It's time for another edition of Cooking with JD, and today we've got the triple B's. We've got Belial's Badass Bangin' Shrimp. You don't want to miss it. It's coming up right now on Cooking with JD. So in today's episode, we are going to be cooking one of my all-time favorite dishes. This is my version of Bang Bang Shrimp, Boom Boom Shrimp, whatever you want to call it. It's always good, it's always delicious. It's also going to be paired with some baby spinach. There's going to be some garlic in there. I'm also going to be making some fried zucchini to go with that. It's going to be nutritious, delicious, and we also have a little demonic infusion in there. We are going to be dedicating this dinner to Belial himself. I've got a little altar set up over here on the countertop for him. Let's check it out. So over here, as you can see, I've got Belial's sigil, I've got some candles, I've got some wine. I'm going to be giving him a little offering of this wine to start off with, and then once this dinner has been completed, he is going to get his very own taste of his signature dish, Belial's Badass Bangin' Shrimp. So to start off, I'm going to go ahead and light these candles. I'm going to go ahead and say a few choice words to my main man Belial. And I'm going to give him a little bit of wine to kind of wet his palate and kind of keep him pacified and occupied while I cook up this delicious meal that me and Orlee are really dying to enjoy tonight. Belial, I welcome you here to this kitchen tonight. I welcome you here to the heart of this home. I dedicate the preparation of this meal to you, my brother. May this meal nourish both our bodies and our minds, as well as our very souls. I now pour out these libations just for you, my brother. And I hope that you enjoy this offering, as you are certainly our very, very special guest here tonight. Alright, there's going to be a few ingredients that you're going to need for Belial's Badass Bangin' Shrimp. Let me show you what those ingredients are right now. So we're going to need 2 bags of medium raw shrimp. These do have the shell on them. They are not cooked yet. So those are frozen. I defrosted those. So 2 bags of these. We're going to need about 1/3 of a bag of baby spinach. These have already been cleaned and rinsed. We've also got 3 nice pieces of fresh zucchini. These have already been rinsed. These are ready to slice up when that time comes. We've got 4 nice spring onions here. Those are going to be chopped up. Those are going to go in our Belial's Badass Bangin' Shrimp sauce when we get ready to make that. We've got about a cup of black olives. We have right here about a teaspoon of ginger, about 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise, 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard. We're going to use about 1.5 cups of chili garlic sauce. We've got about a tablespoon of cayenne pepper, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, about a tablespoon of sea salt, 1/3 of a lemon, 2 small pieces, 2 small pieces of garlic. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get this zucchini. I'm going to go ahead and cut the ends off of those. Just kind of take the excess to the side. I usually cut a little bit more off too, just to make sure we don't get anything that's like bitter and whatnot. And you can cut these however you want to. I'm just going to be cutting them into small little slices for tonight. I'm probably making these about, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch thick, something like that. So we got our zucchini here. I'm going to go ahead, throw those in this bowl. The onions I'm going to set to the side because we're going to use those a little bit later. But I'm going to go ahead and get this garlic going right here. So for the garlic, I'm just going to take it and cut it off on the end just a little bit. Peel this outer layer off of that like so. Now I know a lot of people say not to slice garlic, you're supposed to crush garlic, but for what I'm doing tonight, I'm going to slice it. That's just how I do it. You can do it however you want to, but I'm just going to go ahead and get the peel off right here. I'm just going to go ahead and chop this garlic up, kind of mince it up, I guess you would say. Just in those little bits, just like that. One thing that we're going to have to do with these shrimp is we're going to need to peel them. I'm going to go ahead and get the tails off while I'm doing that as well. The last thing you want to do is mix your working surface where you're cutting fresh vegetables. Even though they're going to be sauteed, you still don't want to mix that with any raw shellfish or any other kind of raw meat or anything for that matter. So I've got another cutting board that I put down on that other surface. I've got a little bowl that's going to be used as a waste receptacle for the shells. We're going to go ahead and get the shell off and the tails removed from these shrimp and get them ready to saute. So I've got my other cutting board right here. I've got the bowl that I'm going to put the shrimp that have been peeled and the tails removed in this. And then I've got a bowl right here that I'm going to use to put the shells and the tails in. So usually what I do is just grab the shrimp right here. Just kind of pull that tail off, get in there and just pop off that shell. Just like so. Throw that in the bowl. I try really hard to kind of keep all of the tail intact so that you get more of a piece of shrimp like this and not really like that. But to each his own, whatever you want to do, whatever time allows. If you really don't want to be that careful about it, that's okay. But I really love shrimp and I don't want to waste any of it if I can help it. The shrimp, I'm going to go ahead and get the pan sprayed with some olive oil, some spray oil. I'm going to go ahead and set the range top to medium. That usually works for my stove, but your temperatures can vary depending on the range that you're using. I'm going to get the small saute pan for the garlic and the mushrooms going. Then I'm also going to get the larger frying pan for the shrimp going as well. After I cook the mushrooms, I'm going to then throw the zucchini in that small saute pan as well to cook those up. So I have a lot going on at once, but I'm going to go ahead and get these pans ready while I'm finishing peeling these shrimp. So I'm going to go ahead now and spray these down, just like that. Got that little one. I'm going to spray this one down, just like that. And now I'm going to get back to peeling. Well, it's just something about making this delicious food like this at home. It is really, really satisfying. I really love to make food that warms the soul, that is good for you, that makes you feel good when you eat it. You know, what we're cooking tonight, it's got so many different colors. You got the lemon, you got the zucchini, you got the black olives, yellow mustard, you got the color of the garlic, the spring onions. I mean, it's an array of color. It's lots of different flavor. It's really going to be delicious once we bring it all together. And this is a dish that is really not that complicated. It's really easy for you to make at home. Really not that many calories either, aside from the shrimp sauce that we're going to be making. That does have some mayonnaise in it, so there's a little bit of calories there, but it's really not too bad. I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit more spray oil in there on these. We're going to throw that garlic in there too. And then I got my shrimp. I'm going to go ahead and add a little more spray oil to those. Go ahead and throw those in the pan. And grab our spatula here. We're going to go ahead and start kind of stirring these around. Stir these mushrooms around too. And if you want to, you can certainly add a little EVOO in there. If spray oil is not enough, sometimes it isn't. But I'm going to go ahead on the mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and add a little turmeric in there, a little bit of salt, and a little bit of black pepper. I'm going to also add a little bit of black pepper right here to the shrimp. A little bit of sea salt as well. Now, the shrimp are going to have a dry rub that I'm going to add to them before they go into the BELIAL'S badass bangin' shrimp sauce. So the shrimp is going to have more flavor infused into it after it's cooked. So don't worry about that. So we're just going to kind of saute these around. Same thing with the shrimp right here. I'm turning that up just a little bit more. Kind of get these going all around in here in the pan. Smelling good, smelling delicious. This is really going to be an awesome food. We're going to need these onions for the sauce. Go ahead and get that to the side. You can go ahead and cut your black olives up right now too if you like. Just kind of mince these onions up really nicely. If you don't use a knife too often, just be very careful. Because especially tonight, we know that we're cooking with Belial. You never know what could happen. This shrimp and these mushrooms kind of stirred around a little bit. These mushrooms are really looking great. These are almost done. I'm going to throw the zucchini in here in a second. I'm just going to put these in a bowl for a few moments. So we got our mushrooms here. We're going to go ahead and just add that back into this stainless steel bowl right here. Those will be fine just like that. I'm going to go ahead and spray this down one more time. Then we're just going to throw our zucchini in there. Now, of course, when the shrimp are done, they're going to kind of start to turn white. And these are really, really looking beautiful. Very, very delicious. We got our zucchini over here. More like it right there. And stir these shrimp around a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one. Just kind of blow on that jewel a little. Give it a shot. Just about there. So while the zucchini is cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and add a little sea salt to that. Some black pepper. Now I like a lot of pepper, as I said in the first episode, so you can put the pepper on there as you see fit, but as you can see, I like a lot of pepper. Orlee does too. It's really delicious, and it's also nutritious. I like both of those things so very much. That is important when you're talking about good food. I'm also going to add some ground cumin. Just a little sprinkle. And I'm also going to add some turmeric to that too. Now the interesting thing about the turmeric is it is an anti-inflammatory. So that is very, very good for you. Fighting inflammation is really, really important for good health. So using that spice is one of my favorite things because it is really healthy for you and it is delicious as well. All right, so these shrimp are just about finished up here. I'm gonna go ahead and take those off the heat, push that to the back of the stove there. All right, so here's one of the best parts of Belial's Badass Bangin' Shrimp. It is the creation of Belial's Badass Bangin' Shrimp sauce. We're gonna go ahead and add 1/4 cup of this chili garlic sauce to that. I'm probably gonna add about another 1/2 cup, so that'll give us about 1.25 cups or so of that. This is really, really spicy sauce, of course. Because we're talking Belial, we're talking bangin', you know it's gonna be spicy. We're gonna go ahead and throw those onions in there. Squeeze a little bit of lemon into that. I'm gonna take the rest of the lemon and I'm gonna squeeze that over the shrimp that I've got back here that I just cooked. And I'm gonna squeeze a little bit of it on this zucchini. But back to the sauce. We've got the chili garlic sauce, we got the onions in there. We're gonna go ahead and now add that 3/4 cup of mayonnaise into that. Now I ought to be using the right tool for the job, so I'm gonna get my spatula, get in there and get the rest of that mayonnaise. Don't forget about your zucchini back here on the stove. I'm gonna be stirring that too. Kind of flipping that around while we're doing this. We got our 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard, or 1.5 tablespoons rather, I would say. We got that in there. We're gonna go ahead and start mixing this all up. I've made quite a bit here. I'm definitely going to have some sauce left over. There's no doubt about it. But this sauce really is such a delicious part of this recipe. This dry rub is gonna be, the shrimp are gonna be placed into that before they go and get tossed around in that the bangin sauce. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that dry rub. We're gonna take, I'd say just a pinch of this salt. We're gonna take the 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons of black pepper. We're gonna throw that in. We got about a teaspoon and a half cayenne pepper. We're gonna throw that in there. We've got about a teaspoon of ginger. And then we've also got about a teaspoon of onion powder. We're gonna put that in there. Just gonna kind of stir that all around. You can get your hands in there. Just get it all stirred up. And once you're done, it's gonna look something like this. Kind of like some Old Bay seasoning or something like that, but it's super, super spicy. I'm gonna turn the stove off for that zucchini. I'm gonna take the shrimp, and now we're gonna add the shrimp into that dry rub. So we got our dry rub here. We've got our shrimp. We're gonna go ahead and get those down in there. Just kind of shake those all around. Just kind of stir them all around so they get nicely coated in there. Now I told you, this is definitely going to be spicy. Once that's done, we can take some of our BELIAL'S Bangin shrimp sauce and just pour that down in here over this shrimp. Just like so. And I'll throw a little bit more in there for good measure. When I look at that, that is looking absolutely delicious. No breading, no deep frying, just some sauteing. Super delicious, super nutritious, very colorful. I really love it so much. So now you got your shrimp. I'm gonna go ahead and set that over to the side. And now we're gonna start plating these bad boys up. Take a little bit of this baby spinach here. A little bit from my man Belial right there. A little for me. A little for Orlee. A little bit more for Belial. A little bit more for me. A little bit more for Orlee right there. Go ahead and take some of these black olives. I'm gonna kind of put that as like almost like a garnish on the side. We got some of these mushrooms. We're gonna throw these on the side right here, kind of across from those black olives. Just like so. So far, this is what we got. This is what it's looking like. Looks good, looks beautiful, looks delicious. We're now gonna take some of this zucchini, throw that down on that jewel. A couple of them got a little overdone, but that's okay. We ain't Rachel Ray up in this piece. And last but not least, last but certainly not least, we are gonna throw some of Belial's badass bangin shrimp on top of that baby spinach. We got a little bit for Belial. We got a little bit for me. And we got a little bit right there for Orlee. A little bit more for Belial. A little bit more for Orlee. And a little bit for me. So once it's all done, this is what you have right here. Is Belial's badass bangin shrimp with the bangin sauce. We gotta make sure before anybody eats, we gotta make sure our main man Belial enjoys this food and approves of it. After all, it's got his name on it. Let's see, what do you think? Get his wine over there too. I think he likes it. Kid tested, mother approved. All right, so I got Miss Orlee Stewart here with me. We're gonna try out BELIAL'S badass bangin shrimp with the zucchini and the mushrooms.
It looks so beautiful.
That's good, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Got some of the zucchini. Got that baby spinach in there. A little spicy in it.
It's delicious. I love it. Thank you.
I think Belial over here really likes his too. Did you check his little spot out?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't love this?
Yeah, I cannot wait to really dig into this delicious feast that we have right here before us. So we're gonna do just that. As always, it is your host with the most, JD Temple, and the lovely goddess, Orlee Stewart, signing off for this time, and we bid you all adieu. Bon appetit.